today. Zach Wilson and a few of his teammates walking into the building. There's a live shot of MetLife Stadium. Welcome into Pregame Central, presented by Bud Light. Eric Allen here with Anthony Beck, Quincy Anunwa, and Lavernius Coles. It is our annual Salute to Service game. We salute every member of our military today, fellas. Gentlemen, good morning. Great environment. Everybody's out there tailgating today. Opportunity at hand for the New York Jets. 5-3. They got the division leaders in town, Anthony. The 6-1 Buffalo Bills.
It's busy today. A lot of fans out today. Let's hear it. Yeah, listen, another division game. Buffalo, obviously not just a division. Buffalo's one of the best teams in the NFL, if not the best team. Great challenge. I'm really interested in seeing how this defense for the Jets, who every single week, they've been the consistent part of this football team, goes up against Josh Allen and all these great receivers and the players that they have. So that's something today that I'm just really intrigued about. And then obviously offensively has to come up with a better plan to get something going to counter the points that the Buffalo Bills may score today.
Q, bounce back mode for the Jets. Last week, they had the New England Patriots here. Zach Wilson was intercepted 3 times. They lose 22-17. Is this going to test the resilience today, facing a Bills team that is 6-1, and they have hopes of being a Super Bowl team this year?
Yeah, you mentioned bounce back game for Zach Wilson. I'm looking for him to kind of have a little more presence in the pocket, a little bit more resolve. The past couple of weeks he's been able to kind of make some good throws, but it hasn't been consistent, and that's what I want to see from him this week is consistency, right? If he's going to be the starting quarterback for the New York Jets and take them to the promised land, he's got to have a consistent game every week.
All right, as we look at Zach Wilson warm up right now, fans, here is your opportunity to participate in Pregame Central. Both the Jets and the Buffalo Bills have 21 sacks. The New York Jets will have more sacks than the Bills today. Vote now. We will get your answer at the end of the program. Lavernius Coles, great to see you. Let's hear it for LC, everybody. Hey, you didn't mind playing the Buffalo Bills. More receiving yards and catches against the Buffalo Bills than anybody in your career.
I was shocked to hear that when I heard the stat earlier, because usually I thought I had my better games against the Dolphins, but I seems like I beat up on them pretty good also, so I'm happy about that.
You certainly did beat up on the Bills. What do you think about what you've seen from the Jets here over the first 8 games?
Well, they've done a pretty good job defensively, of course. Everybody's been talking about how well our defense has played and held teams in check pretty much most of the time. But I think our offense needs to step up to the plate today and start getting some plays done. Of course, we're going to be missing our great lightning in the bottle guy, Breece Hall, but we got to figure out a way to make some plays offensively and hold the ball, keep their offense off the field, methodically move up and down the field, and keep Josh Allen and that explosive offense on the bench.
What do you think of Jets' first-round pick, Garrett Wilson, who's coming off his second 100-yard performance last week against the Patriots?
I mean, the kid just came in and lit it up. That's all you can ask for is opportunities, and he's taking advantage of every opportunity he's gotten. So I look forward to seeing him in the Ring of Honor not too long from now, even in the Pro Bowl, because the kid has all the tools and all the talent to make it happen.
In the Ring of Honor, huh? Listen, next home game for the Jets, Darrelle Revis entering the Ring of Honor. 2 members of the Jets' 2000 fame draft class. Anthony, I wanted to ask you about this 2022 draft class. Yeah. How special it can be, because they're still talking about you guys 20-plus years later.
Well, I mean, we got 65-plus years of playing in the NFL between the 5 of us, and everybody talks about the 4 first-round picks. Well, Lavernius was easily a first-round pick that year as well. I think it's time will tell for these draft picks. Right now, they're getting every opportunity to go out there and make plays. This team is built around these young players. Breece Hall, you talked about him. Huge loss for this team, obviously not being probably the best offensive player that they had. And he really neutralized a lot of the things defensively that teams could do, and it allowed guys like Garrett Wilson and the tight ends and some of these other players, Corey Davis, early on before he got injured, to make plays. Now you got to find ways to get other players the ball, mix guys in. Michael Carter's going to be a piece that obviously is going to be used, but Elijah Moore, we haven't seen him get the ball a lot. Yeah. Is it more routes for him? Is it behind the line of scrimmage? Is it get the ball in his hands? I was interested to see LC. How do you get a guy, you've seen Elijah Moore the last 2 seasons, his skill set. what are some ways that we can be creative enough that you think that they can get them the football?
Well, I think the first step is moving them inside. I mean, because I've watched him play outside quite a bit, which I don't think that's really where he belongs. I think he belongs in the slot a little bit more, try and find ways to get him in motion, get him in bunches, find ways to get the ball in his hands so he can have option routes. Like I say, the guy's a playmaker. He just needs more opportunities, and you have to design stuff around his skill set. He's a small in stature guy, but he's very quick. In and out of the breaks really well, and that bodes well to go inside when you're that quick. So if they can get him inside and create some plays for him, I think he's sort of a faster Wayne Corbett, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So you can get him where he belongs and give him option routes where he can make good decisions for the quarterback and get the ball in his hands. He'll make plays and get us the yards that we need.
Q, following up on that, do you think Elijah should be in a better headspace this week, considering the trade deadline came and went, and Elijah Moore is a Jet? He knows he's going to be here.
Yeah, definitely. I think that it'll at least allow him to kind of be settled in where he's going to be. No, he can't leave, so this is where he's going to be solidified for the year. So now he can kind of relax and know that, okay, let me try to find my place in this offense. And kind of going off what you were saying, I saw last week they had Braxton Berrios running an out route on third down. They missed it, and I feel like that would be a situation where going forward they would put Elijah Moore there, give him an opportunity to make those plays, get his confidence up, right? Because right now, you know his confidence is not as high as it usually is. He's not that playmaker that we've seen, so you definitely want to see him just kind of getting more opportunities.
You are watching Pregame Central presented by Bud Light. We're watching Elijah Moore on the field get ready for this Week 9 matchup. The 5-3 Jets, the 6-1 Buffalo Bills. You got to go back to 2000, the last time these teams have met, LC, where both teams were multiple games over 500. So this is new territory.
Well, I mean, it's fun. You see the atmosphere. You see the fans. You see everybody all excited about what they're about to get ready to witness. And that's what this is about. I mean, you're in a divisional game. This is a good measuring stick for the Jets. They get to go out and test themselves, who people arguably think is the best team in football right now. Now we get a chance to see where we are.
What about Zach Wilson this week? 4-1 as a starter. That's the most important statistic in all of this. Yes, the 3 interceptions last week, and he obviously has got to set his feet. But, I mean, there have been good moments this year for him.
Yeah, I mean, in this business, you're only as good as your last game, right? So, I think for Zach, he just has to continue to go out there and do the right things. It's not necessarily throwing the ball down the field from the sidelines trying to make a big play. Sometimes it's just throwing it out of bounds and moving on to the next play. I think Zach's got all the talent in the world. He's got a lot of weapons around him. Let those guys be a distributor, game manager, whatever it has to be. We don't need more than that. And then when the time comes in the pocket, it breaks down, and you can make us a play, go make it. I mean, look, I'm not minimizing the position at all, but when you have pieces around you, okay, and you got a coordinator that understands what he's got there around this quarterback, dish, go, get the ball out, make some plays, and when the time comes when you get over the top or play action or you can build something with him where he can go down the field and stretch it out, let him stretch it out. But when the ball's in your hands, the number one thing is you got to protect the football. If you throw the ball to the other team or you're almost get it out of bounds, those things, that's a loss right there. So if he doesn't do that today, I don't care what his stats are, if he doesn't turn the ball over, they'll be in this game in the fourth quarter, guaranteed. Yeah. But if he gets a little outside of the comfort zone of where he wants to be and tries to force, then obviously that's where the problems come.
All right, Q, before you go, I just want to say that Josh Allen was on Kyle Brandt's podcast this week, and he drew parallels to himself and Zach Wilson, saying his second year, he remembers having a 3-interception game against the New England Patriots, and he points that to a turn in his career.
And listen, I mean, the fact that he has the confidence to make these throws is huge. I think that if he can just play within the system and allow himself to just kind of get more, making the plays that need to be made, then we can kind of see that playmaking ability. Because even when he's running backwards and dodging all those sacks and stuff, that's elite athleticism right there, right? Like, that's not something that every quarterback can do. So if he can kind of figure out a way to do that within the system, we can really see him shine.
LC, what do you think about this tandem at cornerback for the New York Jets? Sauce Gardner, the number 4 overall selection in the draft. He's tied for the league lead in terms of pass defenses. And then DJ Reed has come over, and he's been a dog on the outside.
Well, I just think that the defense is the backbone of this football team right now. They're going to have to carry this team today. Of course, they're going against an explosive, well-rounded team. They're going to have to keep the ball away from their top players and Diggs and guys like that. But at the same time, they're going to get tested. And then on the Zach Wilson thing, I think he can't allow his 3-interception game to allow him to get gun shy either. He still has to play within the system and be able to take some chances, because you're not going to be able to go against this Buffalo team that's really explosive and think you're just going to be able to dink and dunk and then punt and get 3 and outs and have an opportunity to win.
You're pretty good at this thing, so don't be a stranger, man.
No, I won't.
The great Lavernius Coles, let's hear it for him. Let's go inside the stadium right now and bring in Ethan Greenberg for some game day storylines. There he is. Ethan, good morning. Hey, a late injury ad for the Jets on Saturday. Let's start there.
Yeah, that's right, EA. James Robinson was added yesterday with a knee injury. He was a game-time decision, according to reports, and Mike Garafolo of NFL Network just reported that all signs seem that James Robinson will, in fact, play. So all for naught, but still not official until 11:30 when the inactives come out.
All right, so you talked to DJ Reed this week. What did he say about the matchup with Reed and Gardner going against Stephon Diggs and, of course, Gabe Davis?
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting what DJ Reed said about Stephon Diggs. He said that his route running is unconventional because he'll just run around to get to the open spot of the field, which I guess in DJ Reed's mind is not conventional. So here's the thing. This is the matchup to watch, right? Stephon Diggs has at least 100 yards and a touchdown in his last 3 games. You mentioned Sauce Gardner. Sauce Gardner in his last 5 games, according to Next Gen Stats, has not allowed 3 catches or 20 yards in each of the last 5. So that right there is the matchup to watch. And Stephon Diggs, 3rd in the NFL in catches, 2nd in receiving, and tied for 1st in touchdowns. So a very tough test ahead.
Carl Lawson's been amazing coming off an Achilles injury. He's got 4 sacks in 8 games. Also, he leads the National Football League in combined pressures and quarterback hits. What do you say about going against the super freak, Josh Allen?
Yeah, he said you can't play scared, because I asked him, like, how do you go about containing somebody like that who you know can take off versus just getting pressure, which is what the Jets love to do. And he said you can't play scared. He drew a parallel to when the Bengals, when he was on Cincinnati, played the Ravens and Lamar Jackson. He said if you played scared, Lamar Jackson torches you on the ground. So you have to go about your business. You have to make sure that you get pressure. You just have to be on your keys. So I expect the Jets to play a similar brand of football, at least up front, to what we've seen the past season. So I think that the Jets defensive line is going to be an attacking front like we've seen.
Good stuff, Greens. We'll check in with you in a moment. From now through November 8th, tell us why you or someone you know hosts the best tailgate, never misses a game, or rallies the loudest JTS chant, and deserves to be a member of your Jets Fan Hall of Fame class of 2022. Submit your nominations at nyjets.com/Hall of Fame /Fan Hall of Fame. You're watching Pregame Central, presented by Bud Light. It is our annual salute to service game. So many great things going on today as we salute our nation's military. We thank them not only today, but for every day, what they do for us. So we're able to celebrate a day like today, Anthony.
No, I love the fact that all our armed forces are out today. I feel much safer sitting next to you two guys, that's for sure, on this stage. But it's good to be out here. It's a beautiful day. I mean, honestly, you couldn't ask for a better day in November to play football.
Quincy, the tailgates are alive today.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And kind of going with that, you know, my wife was in the Army, so I want to say something to her.
Let's
as well.
go. All right.
Yeah, all right, Q.
Shout out to the Army.
All right, let's get to our Sunday spotlights, starting with the guy on my left, the head coach, the St. Louis Battlehawks.
Well, you know, you talked about a little bit already about Josh Allen. So it's going to be Carl Lawson and JFM versus Josh Allen. But this has nothing to do with sacks. This has to do with containing him in the run game, the quarterback run game, the read option. You know, trust me, Josh Allen today is going to use his legs, and they has to be contained. So when those circumstances come up, these defensive ends have to be in the right spot to rip and shed and get off and make plays. And when they're not blocked in certain situations where the ball's going to be in front of them, they have to make a decision whether they go to the back or the quarterback. I'm hoping the coordinator said, you know what? If you're not blocked and the quarterback's looking at you and you read it, go hit the quarterback right now, and that'll be your guy. If that happens, listen, the more hits on Josh Allen, the better, right?
Yeah, you can make the argument that Josh Allen is the top player in the National Football League right now. He leads the NFL with 314 passing yards a game and 21 touchdowns. He's had 20 carries for 58 yards on design runs this year. Q, let's go over to you now for your spotlight.
Yeah, so I'll kind of be playing off of AB's spotlight and going with the receivers and the DBs, specifically the DBs for the Jets and the receivers for the Bills. I think that this is going to be a big game for them. I don't think they've really had a test like this all year. They had Amari Cooper early in the year, but that was one guy. The Bills have a group of guys that can make plays at any moment. It's not just Diggs and Davis. They also have guys behind him that can make plays as well. So I want to see Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed, really making sure they're staying on the man, keeping their eyes on the man, because Josh Allen can roll out. He can move the pocket. He'll make it even more challenging because the minute you look away, your guy could escape and make a big play. Stephon Diggs has had a few 100-yard games this year, so that's obviously a dynamic threat. You want to make sure you're locking that guy down, taking away one of Josh Allen's biggest threats, and, you can have a better game.
Plaster, right? Plaster,
man.
Push those receivers. You're allowed to knock them out.
Exactly.
When that quarterback gets out the pocket.
Yeah.
All right, my spotlight is Zach Wilson, the New York Jets quarterback. There he is, right around Josh Allen, in fact, right there. This guys are exchanging pleasantries before this game. Zach Wilson 4-1 as a starter. He had 3 interceptions last week we talked about, but it is his first 300-yard passing game in the National Football League. The Bills' pass defense, meanwhile, they're going to miss Jordan Poyer. Matt Milano's out of the lineup for the Bills as well. That's expected to be when we hear the inactives. But they rank first in the National Football League in completion percentage, first in pass yards per game, first in pass touchdown interception ratio, and first in passer rating.
Allen is rocking today. I think that's bad luck here.
Yeah, I
don't know about that.
I hope so.
That gives me a sign of insecurity right there. I don't know.
Okay, so you're feeling good about the Jets today.
Yeah, I mean, listen, look, this defense today has got a chance now. I mean, set the tone, get some turnovers, put this offense in some favorable field position today. If that's the case, and this young man can bounce back and have a great day. I mean, look, Zach's had some games where we're like, wow, but he's also bounced back from them as well. So I think he's got a great chance. And, this team is 5-3. Okay? They're playing with house money right now. They're going against the best team in the NFL. Yep. They're in your house. The weather's good. The place is going to be thick. The environment's going to be great. Why not? I think they got a great shot today.
Why not? Today, the Jets are honoring the military in the annual Salute to Service game. The game today will feature military recognitions, an on-the-field scholarship surprise, enlistment ceremony, flyover, and much more. We thank you all. For more on the Salute to Service game, let's go back to Ethan.
All right, thanks, EA. We're here in MetLife Stadium. I'm here joined by Major General Rod Falk. I just want to start off with this. This might seem like a simple question, but like EA said, Salute to Service Day. Everyone, including me, we're wearing pins. Everyone's here. Just what does this day mean to you and to the Army?
Veterans Day is a great day. It's an opportunity for America to show appreciation to the millions of men and women who have, from all walks of life, who have made their service and sacrifice a central part of their lives, whether they're serving active duty or serving in the Army Reserve or Army National Guard. They're all making a sacrifice to be ready to defend the nation when called. And I think that's the most noble thing I can think of, to be honest with you.
All right, well, let me ask you this. It is today Sunday, big football day across the world. Your favorite team growing up was which?
The Detroit Lions.
The Detroit Lions. Who was your favorite player?
I would have to say Barry Sanders.
Okay.
With an honorable mention to Matthew Stafford.
Oh, all right, very nice. And just what's your take on today's game, if you have one?
I think it's awesome. It's great to see the teams from New York playing so well, and I'm looking forward to a great game between two currently winning teams.
That's right. And so let me just end with this one. If someone's watching this or listening on their phone and they want to join, where do you point them? Where should they go first?
I'd say go to www.goarmy.com or see your local recruiter. There are so many opportunities to serve. It's not just being a trigger puller or a tank crewman or a fighter pilot. It's really all about being able to contribute to national defense. And there are career fields from IT and cyber security to engineering to medical to military police. You can do, the sky's the limit with the Army and the Army Reserve.
Awesome. Major General Rod Falk, appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
back to
Ethan.
you.
Thanks, guys. The Jets are asking fans to be in their seats no later than 12:45 for player introductions. The fan-led national anthem and kickoff at 12 p.m. Fans will hear fireworks, which signals it's time for the tailgaters to head into the stadium. You are watching Pregame Central, presented by Bud Light. Eric Allen with Quincy Anunwa and Anthony Beck. Great atmosphere out here, AB. And we do have our salute to service pins.
We're rocking our pins, there's no doubt about it. Salute to Service Day today here at the MetLife Stadium. It's great to be here, and hey, I mean, we talked about it before with this team. One good thing about this game here is, you look at what the last game that the Bills played probably wasn't the most complete game they played, right? You talk about, maybe they start a little bit, they let Packers kind of creep back into the game a little bit, and now, an opportunity to put something on tape. Maybe there's a weakness there that Coach Saleh and LaFleur have found. I mean, at some point, the Bills aren't going to win them all, right? They're going to find a weakness. A team's going to come out. You just got to play a four-quarter game.
To Anthony's point, Q, the Packers got some things going on the ground last week. They averaged more than 6 yards a carry, and there are similarities in the systems. You think about who's the head coach of the Green Bay Packers? Matt LaFleur. Who's the offensive coordinator of the New York Jets? Younger brother Mike.
Yeah, if Zach Wilson can stay within the offense, they could definitely have some success against his defense. They're missing some guys in the back end, two guys that are veteran presence, guys that have been playing for a while and do so many great things for them. Tre'Davious White coming back off an injury. Who knows if he's going to be that same guy, especially coming off an ACL. So, it's going to be some challenges for the Jets offense, but I think if they can really execute, they can have a great game. And I'm sorry, real quick, Josh Allen had 2 picks last week, so, the defense can definitely come up big this week.
Man, that's a huge point here. The Bills have an explosive offense, but it's kind of flying under the radar that they don't protect the football sometimes. They have 12 giveaways in 7 games. Right. Josh Allen sometimes can force things, and we saw that last week in the second half against the Packers, 2 interceptions.
Yeah, I mean, he really trusts his arm strength, right? So those tight windows and those opportunities, he's going to try to carve it in there. I think he's going to see a little bit of different coverage today from these secondary players. Much tighter defenders. Yep. It's going to be tighter to get the ball in, and their technique is going to be really a big part of what they do today. The one good thing about Reed and Sauce is they get their head around, they found the football, and they scrape really good. So it's going to be a challenge. This is a great matchup. Gabe Davis, these guys are going to throw the ball down the field today several times. You got to be in position, trust where you're at. These guys have done that. They trust where they've been position-wise, and if they do that, they can make some big plays.
You are watching Pregame Central, presented by Bud Light. The New York Jets hosting the division-leading Buffalo Bills today. We're watching Michael Carter on the field. The Jets are going to need a big game out of Michael Carter because, as Ethan just articulated, James Robinson added to the injury report on Saturday, questionable with the knee injury, Q.
Yeah, exactly. Michael Carter obviously has a different running style than Breece Hall, but I think we can still take advantage of those skills, right? He can still go out there and make plays. He's shown it last year. So, we're looking forward to seeing what he can do this week because we're going to need him. He's big.
You could put Elijah in the backfield, too.
That might not be a
Why
bad
not?
idea.
I mean, you could do that
jet sweeps.
I'm telling you now. Motion him in, motion him out.
Racks in a few times.
Maybe they get creative with him today.
All right, before we start with the all-in or not today, to that point, Lavernius was saying that he thinks that Elijah should be in the slot today. Do you guys agree?
Well, that's where he made his money in Ole Miss. I mean, he can play outside. That's great. But, I just think for me, matchup, right? Who's going to cover him on the inside? A safety, a linebacker? I mean, it's just a tough matchup. Yeah, the nickel corner could be there. But when you can go both ways and you got all that space, that nickel corner better be really good. So, again, I just think you gotta find ways to maximize his productivity outside of just the framework of a progression for the quarterback.
Agreed. And when he's your third receiver in the slot position, most times you're going to have the third DB, and that guy's not going to be as talented as your top 2 DBs. So you get an opportunity to put him out there. This is a guy that's a number 1 receiver when he's playing at his best, and he's going against your number 3 DB. So you just give him more opportunities to make plays.
It's going to be interesting if Trey White is activated for the first time this season. He's coming off the Achilles injury. as well, just like Carl Lawson. Actually, it was an MCL, I believe. Okay, let's get to our all-in or not today leaderboard as we bring in Ethan Greenberg. In fact, how are you guys feeling about your picks this week? Quincy still has a lead at 6-2.
You already know, baby. I'll stay on top.
I'm still above 500. So
I'm a couple games off the pace. I think I can catch up. Ethan's sitting there. Even Steven. Ethan Greenberg 4-4.
Yeah, I like how Becht has the half-game lead. You know what?
Hey,
it
hey,
happens.
that's how it works.
I know. If I were in his shoes, I'd be saying the same thing, so I can't blame him.
All right, so this is a special all-in or not today because Caroline Hendershot is actually in California because her brother got married this weekend, but she's still part of the show. Let's go to Caroline right now.
Good morning, guys. I know you're holding it down for me at MetLife Stadium right now. I wish I could be there, but let's get to all in or not today. Once again, last week, I was wrong. I mean, name something more typical. However, I was peer pressured, so I'm going back to my roots. I'm going to go all in today. I'm saying all in that the Bills are going to score first for the 12th time in 13 games. It's the #1 ranked offense in the NFL right now. They got Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. No knock on the Jets defense. It's just going to be hard to stop, so I think they're getting on the board first. But for your sake and my sake, let's hope I'm right.
Thanks, Caroline. I'll tell you what.
Of course she's all in. 2,000 miles away. Nobody can give her any flack for that pick right there.
I totally agree with that, but many blessings to the Hendershot family as they get an addition there. Ethan, this Bills attack, very powerful. In fact, I think the Bills are averaging just 1.6 punts a game. Will the Bills have at least 2 punts today?
So, in honor of Caroline, who is 2,000 miles away, if she were right here, she would say all in. So on behalf of her, for my all in or not today, I'm going all in that the Jets will force at least 2 punts. And here's the other thing. I do think that this Jets defense is taking a big step in the right direction when you think about where they were this time last year. And if they want to solidify themselves as a top 10 unit, today starts today against the Buffalo Bills. So I'm going all in.
Today starts today. You're right about that, Grease. Anthony, the Jets defense will hold Josh Allen to 40 rush yards or less.
Yeah, not today, man. Listen, they're going to do a great job in the pass defense. That's going to maybe have Josh Allen pull the ball down. And, of course, those design QB runs. Traditionally in the past, Josh Allen's been a problem with his legs in this game. And he's just got something about him when he starts getting a little bit of a feel for that. He starts going a little harder, starts dipping his shoulder. Quite frankly, puts himself in harm's way. So I'm going to say he's going to have more than that today. So, not today.
So, we're watching C.J. Mosley on the field. He had 13 tackles against the Patriots last week. I'm wondering if Mosley actually spies Josh Allen today.
Oh, I love that because he's our best tackler. He knows him best. I mean, hey, if that's the guy that's going to spy him today, then, yeah, that's a problem. But they still have to deal with all the read, the QB read option, and, of course, some of that break in the pocket stuff. It's going to be a tough task. Defending the pass, I think, will be at a high today, but defending him with his legs may be a problem.
That's a great point. Quincy, let's go to you right now. Garrett Wilson will have more receiving yards than Stephon Diggs. Diggs is averaging more than 100 yards a game receiving and a touchdown each game.
Yeah, so this week I feel like this will be the week that Elijah Moore gets a little more targets, a few more yards. So the only reason why I'm going not today is because I feel like they're going to spread the ball around. I feel like Zach understands the mistakes he made last week, and he's going to try to do his best to give these guys more opportunities.
So just so the fan base hears you clearly, you're saying Stephon Diggs will have more yards than Garrett Wilson today. Is that what you're saying?
I'm only saying that because
yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. How about that? Hey.
Only because Elijah Moore is going to get more
Hey, let me tell you something.
today. That's
just want to make sure the fans heard that clearly.
We're having fun here on the set of Pregame Central, presented by Bud Light. But I'll tell you the guy who I think Garrett Wilson, I get vibes. I get Stephon Diggs vibes when I watch Garrett Wilson. I think they're very similar players.
Yeah, well, I really think you talk about, we always say that, the smooth in and out of the routes. When he comes out of his breaks, there's space between the defenders. The kid's just a natural one, man. He's a big-time receiver, I think, even as a rookie. Got to keep feeding them the football, though, because we got to keep utilizing him. When he gets the ball in his hands early in the game, he usually has a big game.
Hey, no Jordan Poyer, no Micah Hyde for the Buffalo Bills today. My all-in or not today, Tyler Conklin will have at least 57 receiving yards. I'm all in on that. I like what happened last week with Conklin. 6 catches, 79 yards, and the 2 touchdowns. I think he's getting good chemistry going with Zach Wilson. And while those corners are going to do a nice job on the outside with the Bills' explosive receivers, I like the tight end to be used today.
Hey, you're going with the Jets tight end?
Yes.
Tyler Conklin, you're going with the Bills receiver.
How about that? Okay, let's get to game day. Oh, okay. Oh, the fans all in or not today? I'm not going to forget the fans. Oh, no, 3-game winning streak. Let's see.
Think something good here.
Fans vote 66% yes that the Jets will have more sacks than the Buffalo Bills today. Let's get to game day inactives. Joe Flacco, Corey Davis, Jeremy Ruckert, Bryce Hall, Tony Adams, Zonovan, Bam Knight. We thank every member of the military. We salute you. Thank you for your service. Have a great game, everybody. Remember, Jets overtime after the game. Enjoy the Bud Lights. It's the Jets, the Bills.